Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 1st February 2022. In this lecture, we are going to discuss many articles which are like 15 articles which are very much learned from our UPSC point of view. Actually, yesterday our finance minister tabled economic survey in the parliament. So because of this, there are many articles which are appear in this today's newspaper regarding this economic survey. I want to say one thing. So regarding this highlights of economic survey and the budget will be taken up separately by economic faculty, that is servants. Okay, so that videos will be released soon. So as of now, let us see the articles which are important from our UPSC point of view. So now let us try to see the brief introduction regarding the topics. Now we are going to have our discussion. So first topic, it is regarding turbulence ahead. So actually this topic which is mainly talking about Air India. So here in this article you need to know about what is this disinvestment, and you have to know timeline of this Air India. So this will be important from your economy point of view. And next topic, it is regarding employment in India. So already you know that there is increasing of or rising of unemployment that is seen in India. So this article it is mainly talking about a hazy picture that we can see regarding employment in India. And this topic it is important from your economy, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And this topic it is exclusively important from your mains. And next topic it is regarding survey pegs growth at 8 to 8.5% in 2020 to 2023. So here this economic survey which mainly is talking about the growth, and here in this article we are going to talk about the summary of this economic survey. And next topic it is about 1,000 people allowed at election meetings, and this topic it is important from your polity point of view because ECI, Election Commission of India, which mainly gave these guidelines. And next topic it is regarding United Nations Security Council. India and Russia hold discussions on this United Nations Security Council agenda, and this topic is important from international relations, which mainly comes in the GS paper 2. And next one is expanding ambit of NCW, National Commission of Women, need of Harvard. So this is a statement which is given by our Prime Minister. So this National Commission for Women, it is very important, and this topic it is very important from your prelims. So this topic is relevant from our polity point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper 2. So in polity we will be having constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, like that. So in that, so this NCW it is also one of the non-constitutional body. It is like a statutory body. And next topic it is regarding India ranks 3rd globally in the forest area. Okay, it is talking about forest area gain. So this article is also important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes as a GS paper 3. And we can also relate this topic with our environment and ecology, which again comes under this GS paper 3. And next topic it is regarding ethanol blending. So ethanol blending of about 8.1% achieved, and the target was 10%. Okay, so ethanol blending it is very important, and we need to know about that. So this article is important from your economy point of view, and even we can connect this topic with environment and ecology as well. So these are the some important topics that we are going to discuss. Apart from that, we are going to see some more articles which appear in our today's newspaper as well. So now let us try to talk about the first article. Today I skipped the quote because there is a much to do, and this video will be going to be lengthy, and please bear me for next 1 hour. So title says about this turbulence ahead. So this article exclusively talking about this Air India. Okay, so Air India now need managerial expertise, and it can get to turn into a successful buy. So actually this Air India, which is mainly taken up by this Tata company. Okay, so again it went to the hands of this original founders of this Air India, right? So now what is the need? So the need here is we need managerial expertise, and we need to make this a buy. It is a successful buy. Okay, so this is the some central theme of this article, and in this context we need to know about what is this disinvestment, what is simple disinvestment, what is strategic disinvestment. So this concept is very important from our UPSC point of view, and as an UPSC aspirant you need to know this difference between simple disinvestment and as well as strategic disinvestment. So what is the context? So context here is the Tata Group, which mainly placed the highest bid of rupees 18,000 crore in Air India disinvestment. So in this Air India disinvestment, Tata Group mainly won this bid, right? So again, now this Air India went into the hands of original founders almost after 7 decades. Almost after 7 decades, that is 70 years, again this Air India went into the hands of these original founders. So if you see this infographic, then you can understand the timeline regarding this Air India. So Tata Sons will be the new owner of this debt-loan national carrier Air India, and the sale marks the return of Air India to Tata Group. Okay, so now this Air India went into the hands of this Tata Group. So what happened, if you are talking about timeline, in 1932, this JRD Tata pilots Tata Airlines inaugural flight from Karachi to Bombay. So in 1932 itself, they came up with this inaugural flight, that is from Karachi to Bombay. And later in 1946, Tata Airlines becomes a public company and they renamed it as Air India Limited. And later on in 1948, Government of India acquires 49% of the stake in this Air India. And later on in 1953, government came with the nationalization of this Air India. And in 2007, Air India merges with Indian Airlines, okay, and that started operating only domestic routes. And later in 2012, government approves rupees 30,000 crore bailout for this Air India, okay, because it has a depth of about 67,000 crore. And later on in 2018 May, government attempts to sell 76% of stake of Air India, okay, but there was no bidder at that time. And in January 2020, government launches second attempt, and now it is offering like 100% stake in this Air India, okay. And later on in October 2020, so government confirms Tata Sons subsidiary Tallies Private Limited as a winning bidder, okay, finally in October 2020. So government mainly confirms this Tata Sons mainly won this a bid, okay. So this is about the timeline regarding this Air India. So now let us try to talk about what are the reasons for disinvestment. So first one is there is huge amount of debt that is present, okay. So whenever we are going for this disinvestment, okay, whenever this Air India which is passing to this private sector from the government, whenever it is entering into the hands of this private sector, so now private sector will be controlling the operation, okay, controlling the cost, and it will also providing some services like Wi-Fi etc. here, and it can also go for some incorporating of technology. So these will be the advantages whenever we are going for this privatization. So privatization will also increase the competition in the market. It will come up with new technology. It can also come up with operation and as well as cost that will be maintained by itself. And next one here is it may also provide some basic services as well. And next one here is a strong international carrier in India will also give a boost to large airports built in Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc. Here this Air India will be able to win back some of its tourist dollars from Indian traveling board. Okay, so because of this, here the privatization is one of the important steps that mainly taken. And next one is it will also help to our Indian economy as well. Okay, it will be having some multiplier effect on our economy whenever it is boosting the tourist, and as well as whenever it is having some success means automatically we can see that will contribute to our overall economy of the country. And next one is there is also pressure on the government to raise resources to support this economic recovery to meet the expectations of the higher outlay of healthcare. So for this also this investment is very much necessary. And what is the significance? So if you're talking about significance, it will be saving the taxpayers money. Okay, it will be mainly saving this taxpayer money from paying for daily losses of Air India. Okay, so whenever you are going for this investment, then that will be helpful for mainly saving of this taxpayers money. And next one is it will be also helpful to push other tough decisions the government is keen to taking. And it will be also helpful for providing option of flying one more low cost carrier domestically. So this will be the significance. And now let us try to understand what is this investment. So disinvestment, in simple words or layman terms, I can say like sale or liquidation of assets by the government, usually the central and also state public enterprises, projects and other fixed assets. So what are the assets which are present with the government? They are going for liquidation or they are going for the sale. So whenever they are going for the sale, they will be getting money in return. So this process is called as liquidation of assets. Okay, so what is the meaning of liquidation of assets? Whenever the government is going for selling, they will be getting money in return. So this is called as liquidation of assets. So the government undertakes this disinvestments especially to reduce the financial burden, okay, or fiscal burden on this government. And whenever they are going for the sale, means they will be getting or raising the money, and that money can be used for specific needs. And if you're talking about strategic disinvestment, so in this strategic disinvestment, there will be also the transfer of ownership and as well as control of public sector entity to other entity. So here, whoever the person who are going for buying of the so and so asset, so there will be the transfer of ownership and as well as control of this public sector entity. So if you're talking about simple disinvestment and strategic disinvestment, in this strategic sale, which mainly implies a kind of privatization, means we are going for transfer of ownership as well. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding employment in India. Title says a hazy picture on employment in India. So this article, which is mainly giving some important data regarding employment, and this article, it is a very nice article. Then you will be, if you read this article, you will be getting some insights regarding this employment in India. And this topic, it is especially important from your mains, and that too from GS paper 3 under economy. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So author mainly says that if you want to see the good indicators of any economy, so there are two key indicators. So there are two important indicators for the successful, or we can say like if you want to move for the structural transformation in any economy. So whenever we are going for transformation, so to understand the rates of growth, okay, to understand whether that is successful or not, so there are two important indicators are present. So one important indicator here is rates of growth. Okay, we will be seeing rates of growth. And next one is, we will be also seeing about the changes in the structural composition of output and as well as workforce. So we will be looking into this employment. So employment and the rates of growth, it is very important indicators to understand the structural transformation of any economy, right? So if you're talking about first one, that is rate of growth, or we can say like output. So if you're talking about the first one, India has experienced fairly consistent changes in the first indicator. So in the first indicators, we are seeing there is a consistent change. So after this 1991 economic reforms, that is LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So after this 1991 reforms, now we can see in the first indicator there is a consistent change that is evident. If you're talking about second one, that is employment. But if you're talking about the trend in the employment, which has not revealed any consistent or clear pattern. So regarding this employment, there is no proper consistent or clear pattern that we can notice in our Indian economy. So if we're talking about growth rate, so growth rate, it is normally measured by this gross value added, or we can say like GDP. So here, if you're talking about GDP before introduction of this 1991 reforms and after introduction of this 1991 reforms, yes, there is a growth that is seen. So it is mainly accelerated from 4.27% in the 20 years before this economic reforms, and now it is like 6.34% in the 20 years. So the first indicator, we are seeing there is a consistent change that is present. And if you're talking about employment patterns, okay, if you're talking about employment patterns, then it comes to deciphering the trends in employment pattern in India. There are wide variations in the conclusions which are mainly drawn by experts and as well as studies on employment. Okay, so if you're talking about employment here, so if you are focusing on especially the trends of employment pattern in India, so we are seeing there is a wide range of variations. So for example, if you're talking about sectors, If you're talking about different sectors, for example, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector, and quaternary sector. So in primary sector, so actually you know that India's economy is mainly based on agriculture economy. So number of people who are mainly employed in this agriculture. And if you're comparing with the sector employment contribution of different sectors, so it is mainly varied with one sector to another sector. So what might be the reasons? The reasons or the factors might be like economical factors, social factors, and as well as technological factors. So these are some important factors which are affecting this employment pattern in India, right? And the two major data sources which are mainly talking about workforce and employment, they are mainly focusing on the first one here is decennial population census. That is, we can say like population census that will be done once in every 1 decade or 10 years. Okay, and next one is we also came with number of surveys by this NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Office. So apart from that, we are also having this periodic labor force survey. So if we're talking about this periodic labor force survey, the latest data which is mainly revealed from this census, that mainly refer to 2011, and in 2021 due to this COVID-19 pandemic, so this census has been delayed. And if you are talking about this NSSO data regarding employment or unemployment, so which is mainly available at up to 2011 to 2012, and later on it may be replaced with this periodic labor force survey. And this periodic labor force survey which mainly started in 2017-2018 on annual basis. And this periodic labor force survey which is now available for 3 consecutive years, that is 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20. So we are talking about some facts regarding this periodic labor force survey. So it is India's first computer-based survey, and it mainly launched by this NSO in year 2017. And it mainly formed based on the committee recommendations, and the name of that committee headed by this Amitabh Kundu. And this committee which mainly maps about, or we can say like this periodic labor force survey which mainly maps state of employment in the country, and they will be going for collection of several variables like level of unemployment and the types of unemployment, and also they will be talking about respective shades, wages which are mainly earned by the different types of jobs. Okay, so these are the some important thing which is mainly collected in that periodic labor survey. Okay, and actually the data which is mainly released under this periodic labor survey which mainly related to employment and as well as unemployment based on this quinquennial, that is every 5 years household socio-economic survey program. So this is about some facts regarding this periodic labor survey. And if you're talking about highlights of this recent report, it mainly says that unemployment rate mainly fell from 4.8% in 2019-2020. Okay, so there is a falling or decreasing of unemployment rate. And if you are comparing with 2018-2019, it was like 5.8%, and in 2017-18 it was like 6.1%, and in 19-20 it is like 4.8%. That means there is decreasing of this unemployment rate, that is mainly evident through the data which is mainly provided by this periodic labor survey. And apart from that, if you are talking about this worker population rate, and this worker population rate also improved to 38.2% in 2019-2020, and when you are comparing with this 35.3% in 2018-19 and 34.7% in 2017-2018. Okay, so here worker population rate also like in 2019-20 it is 38.2%, and 2017-18 it is like 34.7. That means there is increasing of this worker population rate also seen. And next one is labor force participation ratio. So this labor force participation ratio also increased to 40.1% in 2019-2020, and if you are comparing with 2017-18 it was like 36.9%. And if you are talking about this gender based unemployment rate, so data shows that jobless rate for both women and as well as female, they fell to 5.1 and 4.2%. Okay, there is also decreasing of jobless rate for this male and as well as female. So one cause of concern here is So whatever the different approaches which are mainly followed by this NSSO surveys on employment, then what happened, there was some series of data that cannot be comparable with this periodic labor survey data. So this is one important cause of concern. But if you're talking about some positives which are mainly shown by this periodic labor survey here is, so female work population rate which mainly increased from 17.5% to 24%. There is increasing of this female workforce. And next one is, when this ratio which is mainly multiplied by female population, it mainly says that there is 17% of increasing of this women participation in the workforce that is mainly seen. And there is also one more positive indication that is mainly shown by this periodic labor force survey, okay, data here is the gap between this male and as well as female worker participation, which is mainly decreasing. That means we can see there is a gender equality that is going to be exist regarding this job opportunities. Women mainly constituted like 24% of the workforce in the country, okay, in year 2017-18, but now it is increased to 28.8%. And this report also says that unemployment rate in the female labor force in rural area, it is far lower than compared to that of this male, because in rural areas we will be having agriculture. It is one of the economic activity, agriculture and allied sectors. So in this agriculture and allied sectors, there will be increase in the demand for the workforce, especially women, for sowing and for reaping, for harvesting, for everything. So here the farmers, they will be going for this agricultural laborers who are mostly women. So because of this, in rural areas there is a narrowing or very less gap between this female labor force and as well as male labor force, right? And the reason could be there is also, we can see, less gender discrimination in the informal jobs, and there is also we can see there is domination in this informal jobs in these rural areas when we are comparing with the formal sector which dominates in the urban areas. And next, if you're talking about this unemployment scenario, so this periodic labor force survey which mainly gave some data. So this data shows that unemployment rate which is mainly based on principal status plus subsidiary status, here it also declined from 6.1% to 4.8%. So there is also decreasing of unemployment rate which is mainly based on principal status, and this shows the number of jobs which mainly increased at a faster rate than the increase in the number of job seekers between 2017-18 and as well as 2019-20. Okay, so there is also the number of jobs that are mainly increased at a very much faster pace. Okay, and the number of unemployment persons had been increased by 2.3 million. There is also increasing of unemployment persons, okay, by 2.3 millions between 2017-18 and 2018-19. So mainly because of increasing of number of job seekers. So because of the increasing of job seekers, now we can see there will be the large amount of this unemployment persons that are present. And if you're talking about the sectoral composition of this workforce, which mainly shows that 45.6% of the workers in India, they are mainly engaged in agriculture and allied activities, and about 30% they are mainly in service sector, and 23.7% in manufacturing or industry sector. So if you're talking about the composition of this workforce in different sector, so here agriculture, which is mainly employing a lot of number of people, that is 45.6%. And if you're talking about service sector, it is like around 31%. And if you're talking about industry, it is around 24%. And if you're talking about according to the data of this periodic labor survey, there is no increase in the share of industry and service sectors regarding contribution for this employment. Okay, because we can say from this data, like, so labor shift out of this agriculture, it is not happening. So people, they are interested in working in this agriculture sector itself. So in this context, what is the need here? So we need to go for adopting of some technology, adopting of some capital incentives that such that the labor people, the more employment opportunities will be given. For example, if you're talking about one more cause of concern here is, most of these industries, they are mainly going for adopting of labor displacing technologies. For example, in production, strategies. They are using this artificial intelligence, robots, and Internet of Things, such that there is also decrease in the demand for this labor force in this industrial sector. Okay, so these are some important things that you need to remember. And now, what is the way forward? What can be done? So, in order to generate more employment, especially in the manufacturing and as well as service sector, so we need to take some steps. For example, we need to come up with a change in the labor laws, which mainly discourages industries to adopt labor intensive production. And next one is employment linked production incentives, they need to be given. And next one is special assistance for the labor intensive economic activities, they need to be done. So this is a way forward. I hope this article is very much easy and you understand this article. And now let us move on to next topic. So this infographic I took from this page number 7. It is like showing the data regarding price of tomato and as well as onion. So if you go to market like me, you will be understanding like how the price fluctuation that is happening regarding this tomato and as well as onion. So sometimes we can see the price of tomato will be like 100 rupees, 120 rupees. Sometimes we can see it is like 10 rupees or 15 rupees per kg. So what are the reasons behind this fluctuation of the prices of tomato in the market? And not only tomato, even potato and as well as onions prices are very, very volatile in market. So until you go to this market, you might not knowing the exact price of this tomato, onion that is present in the market, right? So here economic survey which mainly talked about this price of this tomatoes and as well as onions as well. So if you see here this infographic which mainly talking about why tomato and onion prices are fluctuating. Okay, why tomato and as well as onion prices are fluctuating. So the price of tomatoes and as well as onions, they are most volatile in the Indian markets. So in Indian markets, price of this potato and as well as onion, they are very much volatile. So this year economic survey which mainly explored some reasons behind. So what is the reasons behind the variability of prices of these two stable vegetables, that is the tomato and as well as this onion. And if you're talking about tomato, so tomato, if you're going for the harvesting season of tomato, it is mostly harvested between December till June. So December till June we can see high production of tomato that is seen. And if you're talking about on other side, from July to November, only 30% of total production that is harvested. So because of this, in December and the June, there is increasing of tomato arrival to the market. So because of this, there is a low price for this tomato between this December to June. But in July to November, only 30% of this tomato mainly produced or harvested. So because of this, there is supply in the market will be decreased, so that there is increase in the demand. Okay, and if you're talking about price shocks of tomato, you can see the graph here. Sometimes we can see like a negative graph, sometimes we can see like a positive graph. So this graph which mainly shows about the average change in the price per kg of tomato after accounting, okay, after accounting some additional charges. And if you're talking about onion also, so regarding the onions also, because of black marketing, because of low production, and because of some adverse impact of climate change, okay, so that will lead to the rise of the price of this onion in the market. So this is about this topic. And whenever you're talking about potato, tomato, onions, you have to know one scheme, that is Operation Greens. So now let us try to see some infographics regarding this Operation Greens. So this Operation Greens on the lines of Operation Flood, it is mainly came up by government to address this price volatility of these perishable commodities. Those perishable commodities includes potato and as well as tomato and as well as onion. Okay, it is mainly promoting this farmer producer organizations and agricultural logistics, and also even processing facilities and also professional management as well. So if we're talking about this image, you can see this is about Operation Greens, and it is mainly benefiting farmers, and as well as it is also bringing the prosperity in this lives of this farmer, and we can achieve our target of doubling of farmers' income by 2022. And next one is, it also includes all major vegetables, fruits, and in this way farmers, they will not benefit with this 50%, who are not benefit with this 50% of subsidy. So they will be getting some subsidy under this Operation Greens. So under this Operation Greens, here major fruits, major vegetables, okay, they will be getting of benefit of about 50% of subsidy. Especially the subsidy will be provided for transportation beyond 100 kilometers, and they are going to provide subsidy for the storage, including this cold storage rooms, and in this way that will be also ensuring the better prices for the farmers. So this is a gist of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding survey. Survey pegs growth at 8.8 to 8.5% in 2023. So this is regarding this economic survey. So if you see this infographic, which mainly talks about, while the finance ministry expects India's economic recovery to continue despite of this third wave of this COVID-19 pandemic. So here this article which mainly talking about predicted growth, okay, and as well as it is mainly talking about persistent inflation in the market and as well as fuel price. So now let us try to discuss this topic, and this will be important from your economy point of view, and even from polity it is important, like what is annual financial statement, so what is this budget, and what is this you can talk about even which are the articles which are related to this budget in India. Okay, so that thing that you can focus on. So now let us try to see the context. If you see context, it mainly says that India's GDP is expected to grow. Okay, India's GDP is expected to grow by 9.2% this year. This year it is going to expect to grow like 9.2% this year, and 8% to 8.5% in 2022-23. In 2022-23, they are expecting that 8 to 8.5% of increasing of our GDP. But if you see in our market or in our economy, we are saying there is a high rate of inflation, either WPI or either consumer price index. So it is a very, very high. And even on another side, so energy prices are also increasing. That means the global crude oil prices had been increased. So because of this increasing of this global crude oil prices, overall transportation cost will be increased. So whenever this overall transportation cost is increasing, means finally the goods and services cost will be increased in the market. That means further leads to this inflation. So here this article says that even though this energy prices are high, so we are going to have the growth of 9.2% this year and 8 to 8.5% in 2022 to 2023. This is the context. And if you're talking about some details, it mainly says that the growth range hinges on assumptions that there will be no further deliberating of this pandemic related economic disruption. So here our finance minister also says that, so we cannot see much economic disruptions in our country in spite of this third wave of coronavirus, and they are expecting that this year monsoon will be normal. So whenever the monsoon will be normal, means farmers will be getting good amount of harvest. So whenever there is a good amount of rainfall, means they can go for sowing and they can provide some employment opportunities for these agricultural laborers. Okay, and even though the broadly oil prices it is mainly increasing, then also we can go for achieving of our growth target. So if we are talking about summary regarding this economic survey 2021-2022, so Indian economy which mainly estimated to grow by 9.2% in terms of real terms in this 2021 to 2022. So we are mainly expecting the growth of 9.2%. And the GDP in this 2020 to 2023 it is going to be decreased. It will be like 8 to 8.5%. And next one is, with enhanced borrowing on this account of COVID-19, the central government debt has gone up from 49.1% of GDP. Okay, so it mainly says that there is increasing of this government debt because of this COVID-19 related emergency issues, and rupees 89,066 crore which mainly raised via 15 initial public offering issues in April to November 2021. Okay, issues in this April 2021, which is much higher than any year in the last decade. Okay, so whatever the money that been raised by this initial public offering, so it is a very, very high. And next one is foreign exchange reserves. So foreign exchange reserves in India which mainly crossed like $600 billions. Okay, so this is one important thing. And the next one here is India's overall score even in Niti Aayog's Sustainable Developmental Goals Index. Okay, and the dashboard which mainly improved to 66 in 2020-21, and from 2019-20 it was like 60. Okay, so this is the gist of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. Now let us try to see next topic. Title says 1000 people allowed at election meetings. So actually you know that, so we are going to have assembly elections in 5 states, like for example Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. So because of this, Election Commission of India, which mainly allowed about 1000 people to be allowed for this public meetings. So this article, it is important from your GS paper to under polity point of view. So here you can relate this article with what are the roles and responsibilities of this Election Commission of India. So already you know that this Election Commission of India, it is a constitutional bodies and it will be having responsibilities regarding conducting of polls and deciding the schedules, and as well as it will give some guidelines as well. So in that part of the responsibilities of this Election Commission of India, so it mainly gave some guidelines regarding this upcoming assembly elections in these 5 states. They can go for 1000 people will be allowed at meetings. Okay. So now let us try to see context. If you see context, it mainly says that the Election Commission of India, which mainly allowed up to 1000 people at public meetings of political parties and candidates contesting all phases of assembly elections. Okay, so our Election Commission of India, which mainly allowed now 1000 people at public meetings of political parties and candidates who are mainly contesting all phases of assembly elections. So if we are talking about further more details which are given in this article, it mainly says that earlier Election Commission of India had allowed public meetings up to 500 members for the first 2 phases only, and now for all the phases it is mainly allowing like 1000 people. And the commission also took the decision after reviewing this COVID-19 situation in this poll-bound states like Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand as well as Uttar Pradesh. Okay, and now all states chief ministers, they were informed that commission about the reports of this COVID-19 infections either plateauing or not, or tapering as on date. Okay, so here in this context, this state chief secretaries, they mainly need to inform regarding so the amount of the number of this COVID-19 cases in that so and so areas. So this is just of this topic, and here you have to refer some facts regarding this Election Commission of India that you can get in your Lakshmikant directly. And next topic is regarding this United Nations Security Council. So India and Russia hold discussions on United Nations Security Council agenda. So this article, it is important regarding GS paper 2 under international relations. So now let us try to see context. So now ahead of Russia's upcoming presidency, okay, Russia, it is going to have presidency in this United Nations Security Council this month. So in this context, so recent visit that mainly happened. So in this visit, India and Russia, they mainly held some discussions regarding this United Nations Security Council issues, mainly during the visit of Ambassador and as well as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russian Federation. So we are talking about details, what are the things which mainly discussed. So the discussions mainly came in the backdrop of tensions between Russia and Ukraine over possible eastwards expansion by NATO. Okay, so here the issue was like Ukraine, if Ukraine which is mainly joined or which mainly joined in this NATO meets. So here in this NATO there was one provision like, so if any country which is mainly acting any country means it will be like, it will be seen as, so that will be against entire NATO group. So this entire NATO will be going for retaliation, right? So here because of this, Russia mainly do not want this Ukraine to join this NATO. And next one is the Russian delegation briefed India on its priorities during the 76th session of this United Nations General Assembly. So Russia also delegated some important priorities of India as well. And in this context, Russia side and as well as Indian side, they both agreed to work closely. Okay, and they want to work together regarding to addressing of some common challenges which are mainly faced. Okay, and they need to go for a special privileged strategic partnership. And both the sides, they also held wide ranging of discussions regarding issues of this United Nations Security Council agenda and even recent developments in this United Nations Security Council. And even they agreed to deepen cooperation regarding issues of mutual interest at multilateral platforms. At multilateral platforms, they mainly agreed to deepen the cooperation on issues of mutual interest. And India has also maintained cautious position over this military tension because between this Ukraine and as well as Russia, there was an issue that is going on. So India also maintained a very cautious position regarding this military tensions as well. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this United Nations Security Council, actually this UNSC, it was established by United Nations Charter in 1945, and it is one of the 6 principal organs of United Nations. It is one of the 6 principal organs of United Nations, and other 5 important organs of this United Nations. They were, the first one is UNGA, that is United Nations General Assembly. Next one is Trusteeship Council. Next one is Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, and as well as Secretariat. So these are the important 6 organs of United Nations. And what is the important responsibility of this United Nations Security Council? Name itself, it is saying that it need to work and it need to maintain international peace and as well as security. And if you're talking about members, there are 15 members. Out of this, 10 were non-permanent member or temporary members, and 5 are P5 members. These P5 members includes US, Russian Federation, France, China, and UK. So these 10 non-permanent or temporary members, they will be having tenure of 2 years. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is also very much important from our polity point of view. So this article which is talking about expanding ambit of this National Commission for Women, need of hour by Modi ji. So our Prime Minister, who is mainly speaking this 30th Foundation Day of National Commission for Women, he mainly gave us some statements. And here you need to know about some facts regarding this NCW. Okay, now let us try to see this topic. So if you see context, it mainly says that already we know that in our society, women are facing many number of issues. For example, domestic violence. For example, there is no proper women working force, and we are also seeing that there is increasing of case of sexual abuse, violence against women. Okay, and there is also increasing of dropouts of girl child, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic, and even child marriage are still persistent now. So in this way here, whenever we want to address the different challenges that are mainly faced by the women and to address the evolving needs of women in the country, so here National Commission for Women must broaden its ambit. So this is a statement which is given by our Prime Minister. And if you're talking about some details, it mainly says that actually he was speaking to this 30th Foundation Day of this National Commission for Women. So in this context, he mainly said that there is a need of expanding role of this National Commission for Women, and it is now the need of hour mainly to address the evolving needs of women and as well as to address the challenges that are mainly faced by the women. So in this context, at the state level, the state commission should also need to be widened. Okay, and some important statements were given by our Prime Minister was like he mainly emphasized that there is a special need to promote women entrepreneurs. So if you're talking about our economy, so workforce of women will be less when we are comparing with that of men. So because of this, we need to promote this women entrepreneurship. And next one is women's participation in the growth cycle of New India. It is to be rise. And next one is women commissions. They need to ensure that women's role in entrepreneurship is recognized and even promoting the role. Okay, we need to promote the role of women in this entrepreneurship. So these are some details that I found in this article. And now let us try to see some important facts regarding this NCW. NCW mainly stands for National Commission for Women, right? So actually it is a statutory body, not a constitutional body, it is a statutory body, and mainly established in year 1992 under one important act, that is National Commission for Women Act. Okay, so under this National Commission for Women Act in 1992, we came up with establishment of this statutory body, that is National Commission for Women. And if we are talking about constitutional provisions, that means some articles in our constitution. So in our constitution, it does not contain any provisions which are especially regarding this women, right? So there are some gender neutral articles. For example, Article 15.3, it mainly talks about no discrimination. Article 14 talks about right to equality, and Article 21, which mainly talks about right to life and personal liberty. So these are the 3 articles in our constitution which mainly talks about this gender neutrality. And if you are talking about objectives, of this National Commission for Women, it mainly represents the rights of women in India, and it will be also providing the voice for their issues and as well as concerns. So it mainly provides a voice for the issues and the concerns regarding the women in the country. And next one is the subjects, okay, the subjects of their campaign, like for example dowry, for example politics, religion, equal representation for women in jobs, okay, exploitation of women for labor. Okay, so these are the some important things which are mainly the campaigns done by this National Commission for Women. So apart from this, you need to know about what are the powers and what are the responsibilities and functions of this NCW. So please refer these facts, that will be very important from your mains. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding forest area. So title says that India ranks third globally in forest area gain. So it is according to survey. So this article says that there is increasing of net forest area in India. Actually this topic you can connect with environment and ecology and even economy, because this data which is given in our economic survey. So if you see context, it mainly says that India has increased its forest area in the past decade and ranks third globally regarding this average net gain. Okay, so that means every year there is increasing of forest cover, because we are going for number of afforestation programs and we are going for CAMPA, okay, compensatory afforestation. Okay, so because of this, whatever the forest that we are diminishing, so we are also going for increasing of forest area. So in this average annual net gain, so India mainly stands third globally. So if you are talking about details, it mainly says that forest mainly covered about 24% of this Indian geographical area. So we are talking about India. So here we have Western Ghats, here we have Eastern Ghats, and here we have Himalayas. So here we have alpine forest, and in the northeastern region we will be having good amount of forest, and even in the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats we have forest, and in this central India we can see dry deciduous forests are present. So here total, if you are talking about the forest cover in India, so 24% of this India's geographical area which is mainly covered with the forest. And if you are comparing with the world's total forest area, India contributes about 2% of this world's total forest area in 2020. And if you are talking about the top countries which are having more amount of this forest area, they include Brazil. So Brazil 59%, it is mainly having this forest, that is Amazon. And next one is Peru. Peru, it is also having 57% of forest area. And Democratic Republic of Congo, Russia, they are having more than half of their geographical area under this forest. And if you are talking about India, in India also we are seeing there is much increasing of forest cover since 2011 to 2020-21. Okay, so because of some steps that are mainly taken, okay, and we can also talk about urban afforestation technique like Miyawaki. It is a Japanese technique that we are following here. Okay, and because of all the steps which are taken by the government, there is increasing of this dense forest cover by 20%, and open forest cover also improved by 7%. So if we are talking about need, the need here is we can go for the social forestry. So if you are talking about the social forestry, it is one of the important concept in your geography. So please try to refer that social forestry. Okay, and now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding ethanol blending. Ethanol blending of 8.1% achieved, and the target here is 10%. So here you need to know about what is this ethanol blending. So ethanol blending is nothing but ethanol which is mainly mixed with petrol or diesel. Okay, normally we can see this ethanol blending with petrol, and petrol, this ethanol will be mixed. So the target is about 20% by 2025, but as of now we achieved 8.1%. So this is the data which is given in our recent economic survey. So now let us try to see context. So the ethanol supply in the country to enable blending with the petrol is likely to reach 302 crore liters according to this economic survey 2021 to 2022. So as of now, ethanol blending, it is very low in India. So actually whatever the ethanol that is supplied in the country, so that will be helpful for blending with the petrol, and it is going to be reached like 302 crore liters. So if we are talking about some more details, it mainly says that the target of this ethanol blending, it is like 20%, and the target here is 2025. So whenever we are going for 20% of blending of ethanol with this petrol, so we can also go for decreasing of our crude oil import. So because of this, it will be also very much helpful to boost our agriculture sector. So why agriculture sector? Because this ethanol will be produced from the agriculture, like for example sugar. So whenever there is excess amount of the sugarcane that is produced, so we can go for this production of this ethanol. And we know about this biofuels. So biofuels can be produced from the different, like type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, right? So in that thing, so it will be also helpful for boosting of our agriculture sector. And even whenever we are going for the blending of this ethanol with the petrol, that will be also helpful for decreasing of our pollution as well. So this ethanol supply under this ethanol blended petrol program, which is mainly expected to exceed, okay, in this year. And it is going to achieve like 8.1% of blending, and finally this will increase about 74.5% of increase when we are comparing with that of the last year. So it is one of the great success that we can say. And the target here in this year to reach our ethanol blending in petrol by 10%, and the target here is 2021 to 2022, and we already achieved this 8.1%. So we are in a way to reach our target. So if we're talking about some facts regarding this ethanol blending, first you need to understand about what is this ethanol. So if we're talking about ethanol, it is one of the principal biofuels, okay. So if we talk here, you have to know about what is biofuel policy and different types of biofuels that we can see. And you can talk about even the production, what is the process which is mainly involved in the production of these biofuels as well. So if we're talking about ethanol, it is one of the principal biofuel, and this ethanol which is naturally produced by fermentation of sugars, and this fermentation will be done by using of yeast or other some microorganisms. So we're talking about target of this ethanol blending. The target here is 20%, and the target year is 2025. And currently we came with this 8.5% of ethanol blending with petrol in India. So if we're talking about what are the objectives, the first one here is energy security. So whenever we are going for this 20% blending here, then we can go for decreasing of our crude oil imports. In this way we can save our forex reserves. And next one is it will be also providing some incentives for the farmers, because they will be majorly benefiting the sugarcane farmers, okay. And government is also planning to mainly encourage the use of water saving crops, for example maize, that can be used for production of this ethanol, right? And next one is the impact on emission. So whenever we are going for this use of this ethanol blended petrol, which mainly decreases emissions, for example carbon monoxide, and for example hydrocarbons, even nitrogen oxides, NOx, okay, like NO2, NO3, like that. And even we can go for decreasing of greenhouse emissions, such that it will also helpful to control this global warming, and it will be helpful for achieving of our targets under this Paris climate deal. So this is the gist of this topic. And now let us try to see the gist of some other topics which are present in this today's newspaper. Especially there is one paper which is given like title like economic survey. So I already said that these highlights will be come up by servants separately in separate lectures that we will be posting on YouTube. Don't worry about that. So the first topic, it is about January sees second highest GST collection at 1.38 lakh crore. So what happened regarding this GST collections? Already you know what is this GST and what is GST compensation, everything, right? So in this month of January, this GST collection which had been increased, and it is like rupees 1.38 lakh crore. So why? Because of revival of our economy. So this is one of important sign. And even the large amount of this GST which is mainly received from the imports, okay, import of the goods. So it is from import of goods, about 26% of higher revenues that is mainly collected here. So you have to refer this article, and you have to do revision regarding this GST. And next topic is regarding ethanol helps sugar mills clear arrears to farmers. So already you know that if you're talking about sugar production in India, it is one of the largest consumer of sugar, and even it is one of the second largest producer of sugar. And let me know which is the first largest producer of sugar in the world. So India, it is the second largest producer of sugar. So this sugarcane that will be taken up by the sugar mills, and they will be going for extracting of sugar, and some amount of the sugar that will be exported as well. So what happened whenever we are going for the exporting of the sugar? So we are having some targets. So we are going to decrease our exports of this sugar, and the deadline which is very much near to India. So in this context, what is the one alternative? So alternative here is that sugar mills, they can go for production of this ethanol. So that ethanol that can be used for this petrol blending. So in this way here, the farmers will be also getting good income. So this is the thing which mainly said in this article. So you can refer this topic. And next topic it is regarding government admits lack of data to study COVID impact on learning. So actually if you see regarding this education, we will be having one report, that is ACER report. So ACER 2021 report on basic education cited in detail. So actually in this recent economic survey, which mainly acknowledged regarding the gapping or the lacuna that is seen in the government data regarding the impact of this COVID-19 on the learning, especially if you're talking about the children, like 25 crore school children who have not entered into the classroom almost like 2 years. So whenever this COVID-19 which entered into our lives, so from that day onwards, from imposition of the lockdown in the March, so at that time onwards till now, there is no proper entry of the children into the schools. So here, if you're talking about impact of this COVID-19 and learning, so there is a lack of data, and even economic survey which is mainly acknowledging the gap and as well as lacuna in the government data as well. So you can refer this article, it's very easy. And here you have to know about some detail regarding this ACER 2021 report and what are these highlights of this report. And if you're talking about this ACER, it is a NGO, that is non-governmental organization, that is Pratham will be releasing this ACER report. Okay, so this report says that there is a learning loss that is very much prominent, and the number of children, if you're talking about the number of children who are aged between this 6 to 14 years, they are not enrolled in the schools, that had been doubled, that is 2.5% in 2018, and if you're talking about that rate, it is 4.6% in 2021. Okay, and even this ACER report which also found that there is significant shift from the private to the government schools because of the financial distress they are facing by the parents because of this abrupt lockdown. So many of parents, they lost their job. So because of this, there is increasing of shifting from the private schools towards this government school, that is mainly seen, and even migration. So because of this migration from these urban areas to their rural areas, so there is also increasing of enrollment in the government schools in the rural areas, like that. Okay, so these are some details that are given, then you can easily go to this topic. And next one, it is like creating jobs via investments. So already you know that due to this COVID-19 which had been seen a large amount of impact on this unemployment, so there is also increasing of unemployment rate that is seen in India. And how can we go for decreasing of this unemployment rate? So even in this MG-NREGA scheme, there is increasing of demand that is seen during this COVID-19 pandemic time. So now we are seeing there is decreasing of demand for this MG-NREGA. And here, when we want to create employment, we need to focus on this infrastructure investment. Whenever there is large amount of investment that is seen in infrastructure, so this will be providing the employment. Okay, so this is a thing that mainly set by our principal economic advisor. And next topic, it is regarding vaccination was the key for reviving of our economy. So if we're talking about economy, so due to this COVID-19 pandemic, already we know that economic distress we are facing. There is increasing the level of inflation, there is increasing the level of unemployment. So for this, whenever we want to go for revival of our economy, the key here is vaccination. So we need to go for vaccination, complete vaccination for adults, and we need to go for booster dose for the people who are very much vulnerable, and we can go for vaccination for children. So whenever we are having this vaccination, then the severity of this COVID-19 will be decreased, such that we can go for reopening, or we can go for proper activities, such that the livelihood of the peoples will be ensured. So that will be helpful for finally revival of our economy. So this is the one thing. And next article, it is regarding demand for MG-NREGA work softens. So what happens? So if you're talking about this MG-NREGA, it is a rural employment guarantee scheme. So under this, here 100 days of guarantee work will be given. Okay, and you know about these details of this MG-NREGA, right? So during this abrupt imposed of this lockdown, so many people who are especially migrant laborers, they started migrating from these urban areas towards rural areas, and that led to increase the demand for this MG-NREGA. And recently we saw that number of states are also having some negative balance sheet regarding this MG-NREGA. There is lack of funds. So in the recent parliamentary discussions also said that they will going to increase this allocations for this MG-NREGA. And now this article says that there is drop that mainly observed after the peak during the first wave, but figures there is still higher than the pre-pandemic levels. So initially we saw there is a high peak of increase in the demand for this MG-NREGA, and now the demand has been decreased, but if you see and if you compare with this pre-pandemic levels, so there is a still higher demand for this M. generica that mainly seen. Okay, so these are some important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. And now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding objective resolution. Objective resolution presented by Jawaharlal Nehru in December 1946. It is an historic event in making of our constitution. So what did this resolution contain? So this resolution mainly contains this fundamentals and as well as philosophy of our constitution structure. So option 3 is correct answer. And next one, it is regarding a democratic polity. So this article is mainly demanding about which of the following are direct democracy tools. So first one is plebiscite, second one is referendum, third one is recall, and fourth one is initiative. So if you have completed your in Lakshmikant, so you know that this direct democracy tools are all of these: plebiscite, referendum, recall, and initiative. So if I want to explain all this, it is already more than 1 hour. So please refer your Lakshmikant regarding what is plebiscite, referendum, recall, and initiative, and this will be important from your mains. Correct answer is 4, all the above. And now let us try to see today's questions. So before seeing this today's questions, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear this UPSC, I will strongly suggest you to join this prelims test series and as well as means answer writing course that we launched in this Rathod's IAS Academy. So in this prelims test series, we are providing 30 tests which includes both CSAT and as well as your GS. So these tests will be very helpful to understand where you stand and understand whether you are going in a right way or not. It will be helpful for analysis. And next one, it is about mains answer writing course. So here mains is very important because it is a deciding factor to make or to break the deal. Okay, because prelims will be like we can say like just it is a qualifying paper, and interview test will be not there in our hands. We don't expect which type of question that will be asked and how you are performing, because some students, they will be having very much fear regarding this interviews. But the mains which is present in our hands, so without any fear, if you are preparing well for mains and if you give your best, then finally you can see your name in the finalist for sure. So this mains, it is one of the deciding factor. Okay, so if you join this course, that it's going to be started from today, okay, from February 1st. So this new batch for this mains answer writing course is started. So if you join this course, you will be under the guidance of me, and whatever the experiences that I have, I will be sharing with you, and this will be very much helpful for your improving of answer writing. And I will be guiding you in a path to how to achieve and how to master this answer writing skills for sure. So I will assure you that if you join this course, within 1 year you are going to complete your entire GS syllabus, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, along with 27 essays and 26 case studies. So this is absolutely very useful course. So please try to join this course, and the cost is like 7,200 for 1 year. Okay, and apart from this, we also launched this foundational course for UPSC. So there will be like more than 700 hours of recorded classes. So this will be very useful because we are covering each and every topic in your syllabus along with the conceptual clarity. And next one is, if you want to take individual courses like only economy, only history, only geography, disaster management, science and technology, environment and ecology, so you can take this individual courses, and we are also providing that option as well. So details of this course are given in description box, and if you want to watch demo lectures, so please visit our website Rathod's IAS Academy. There you can watch 3 videos in each and every module without paying a single penny. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513, and I am the academic director of this Rathod's IAS. Okay, so you can believe us 100%. Okay, there is nothing like cheating that we are doing here. So whatever we are saying, we are following that. And if you want to download the app, so the link is also given in description box. You can download the app. Okay, and today's questions are based on, the first one, it is based on preamble, and second one, it is based on first schedule. So please try to see the questions and try to answer these questions. Okay, so the question is on screen, so try to read the question and try to answer those questions. And by this I am concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos, and don't forget to enroll to these courses. These are absolutely very useful. Okay, so by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.